Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to Adamu TV. It's a Monday writing session. We're either gonna be sitting at the computer, or I'm gonna stand up, talk to you guys shit like this. It's like, how am I gonna grow my universe, you know, without telling you guys about it? So every week I'm gonna tell you guys something about what I got writing and going on through my universe. Okay, so first look over here. We got 3 quotes I always want to live by. Okay? I got 3 quotes I always want to live by. If you want to change the world, pick up your pen and write. Martin Luther King. All right? And we got here, if you wish to be a writer, then write, by Epictetus. All right? And someone out there needs your writing. I like to remind myself of these things, just like, why not? This is my little motivation. And to watch the rest of this, to see the meaning behind all this, go watch my vision board video. It's already out. Okay? So, my personal quote of writing is an art. There are no rules or guidelines to it. Whew. All that yap aside, let's get into the topic of this video. Who is Romanji, my first ever MC? So, Romanji is the character for my first ever novel, right? Which I started writing when I was 16. It took me like 3 years to finish. I was mad inconsistent. But Romanji, no, number one, he don't got a last name. My characters, none of them have last names because the last name's not important. You should be like, oh, that's Romanji from this place, unless their last name actually has importance in the universe. All right, so how did he come to be? That's a good question. I really don't know. I know how his powers came to be, but I kind of just thought of Romanji, and I made him a whole lot like myself. And we're going to get into that later into this video. So, his name, I just basically combined Roman and I think Jason or Kofi, one of those names from WWE. I put them together, and I kind of just made his name Romanji. And that's pretty much it. That's his name. So, the inspiration behind Romanji, I don't even really know, but as the more I started writing it, the more I felt like he grew into a person in it of himself. That makes sense. They always say, oh, when you start writing, you start getting to know your character. And the character basically became himself, became a full person within and of himself. And that's what happened with Romanji. And now, I did start him off pretty basic and stereotypical, I'm not gonna lie. He's an African kid in the hood, and I bet you come to your conclusions based on that. But all I knew was when I was making this book, it was gonna be fantasy mixed with the hood, which never happened before, or at least I didn't see it. And that's the inspiration. And furthermore, number 3, his personality. Now, where his personality come from? Mind you guys, you can read this all on Wattpad or my read-alongs on Adamu TV. All right, his personality. Okay, his personality was very basic at first, but I made him a person who needs anger management. He has rage inside of him for no reason. He's just very hungry and driven, a hunger that's built from water break. Ooh, this is too good. But yeah, a hunger built from, the lack of resources, I guess. His whole thing is about a drive for power and a drive for more. And we're going to see where that takes him. You know what I mean? But yeah, his personality, I like to say all the MCs that I create have a bit of my personality that I explored. And I would like to say this, I feel like every character that I write is a piece of myself, no matter what it may be. Because I don't believe I can craft something from nothing. That just doesn't make no sense. So every character that I craft, especially my MCs, are huge parts of myself and how I explore the world, but I'm exploring it through a different fantasy realm. And yeah, his motives and what he represents in me. Like I told y'all, my MCs especially are me. Some of them I even name Adam multiple times because they're me, I'm exploring myself through my writing. That's how this goes. You wish to be a writer? Then write. So, what does he represent in me? He represents the powerlessness, that broke egg, you feel me? Say nah, but yeah, he represents powerlessness and what that can do to a person. And how much power is too good of a power. He's basically battling power and the imbalances of it, the the greed of it, and the lack therein of it. You know what I mean? That's Romanji, and he's, let's say, he's very determined, but he has a personality. He likes chicken, he likes watermelon, he likes having fun, and he has a moral law of code and justice. But he's really driven by duty, and I feel like you have to read more about him to find out who he is, because he does love, he does care, and he's very kind and compassionate. And that's all I gotta say. But I would say I don't know if he's good or evil. That's all I'm gonna say. What does he represent in the Adamu universe? Well, he's my first ever super human. Yeah. By the way, nah, I don't want to spoil it for you guys. He's my first ever superhuman, and his universe is the first half powers. And in the timeline of the Adamu universe, this timeline is very sacred to say the least. So, what does he represent in the Adamu universe? Origin, to an extent. The first, because he was the first to do it all. And if this all kicks off, Romanji, I feel like will be the one to kick it all off because of who he is and what his story contains. And I wanted to craft it into the best tale ever. That is why it's called The Tale Romanji the Warrior. It is a story, a complete story of a boy named Romanji, and I think it's worth looking into. All right, lastly, what can we learn through him? I feel like Romanji does a lot of good and bad things. That's why I don't really want to call him a superhero, because he doesn't do superhero things. He's very complex. But you can learn through his flaws. He trusts too easily. He's kind of too kind, but he's not naive. He's just too kind, and that doesn't usually end up places. You know, it doesn't end you up in good places most of the time. So those are some things you can learn about Romanji. His mistakes. He makes a lot of mistakes. But it's like you can't even blame him, because y'all probably do the same thing. But if you knew this would come because of that, you probably wouldn't have done it. But would I say Romanji battles regret? I don't really know. And besides that, I would say bro needs anger management. And if he gets that anger management well done, you know, he gonna be alright. But that's actually not the downfall of him. You know? Alright. Now, I'm sorry if I talked a little bit fast for you guys, but that is Romanji, my first ever MC. And I really don't know what else you guys want to know about him. You have to read about him to learn about everything else. Remember, the MCs are a part of me. I'm a part of them. And we are exploring the Adamu universe in a never-ending story. From my YouTube BFK journey and Romanji, the motherland, and Akeem the philosopher. They're all parts of me, and everybody should, you know, take that into initiative. And hey, I hope y'all like this this little writing session, because I'm gonna be doing it every Monday. And hey, y'all can go read this and turn me up, man. For we can get Hood Meets Fantasy out here, and we can get this Adamu TV started and start a world revolution and whatnot, bro. Stop playing on me. Come tap in with me. All right, then. Love you guys. And as always, it's Adamu TV. Finna touch the skies. I'm finna touch the seas. Yeah, it's Adamu. And y'all gonna see me, bro. Peace.